Are you looking for ways to connect drippers to your irrigation system? Or maybe you have an existing system and you're wondering how the drippers were connected. Today, I'm going to show you 5 different ways to use drippers in an irrigation system. The first method is to connect your dripper directly to your main line. This is a good method when your main line is running right next to your plant. One of the nice things about this method is it saves a bit on material, as you don't need a 1/4-inch coupling like this. But what if your main line is like 3 or 4 feet away? I'm going to show you that method next. So all you have to do is punch into your main line with a 1/4-inch punch and then push in the barbed end of your dripper. I'm going to punch in my dripper right here. We do generally recommend to get the dripper as close to the plant as possible, but if it's not possible, that's okay. Water spreads beneath the soil through the soil's capillary action. Okay, let's install our dripper. When you punch the hole on top of the tubing. It's always best if the dripper is on top of your mainline tubing, not on the side or the bottom. This method is great because it's quick, easy, and uses the least amount of materials. But there will be a lot of situations where your mainline isn't directly nearby your plant. So, what do you do when your mainline is a few feet away from your plants? The next few methods, I'm going to cover how to accomplish this, including the one I prefer the most. This first method we call the landscaper's method, and it's because we see it used a lot in commercial landscaping. It's an effective method that reduces clogging. You simply punch a hole in your mainline tubing with your 1/4-inch punch, and then push in the barbed end of the dripper. After that, it changes a little bit though, as we've got a dripper that has an outlet barb. This allows us to connect 1/4-inch, what's also known as spaghetti tubing, to the outlet barb, run it over to the plant, plug the end of our 1/4-inch tubing with a bug plug. The bug plug goes into the end of your 1/4-inch tubing. It allows water to escape, but prevents insects and debris from going inside. Once I've ran the 1/4-inch tubing and got the plug where I want it, I'm going to hold it in place with a stabilizer stake. And this way, water is carried from our main line through our button dripper, spaghetti tubing, and bug plug to water our plant. This next method is actually the one I prefer the most, and it's very similar with some minor differences to the previous method. To accomplish this, we're going to punch a hole in our main line with our 1/4-inch punch. But instead of connecting in a dripper, we're going to use a barbed coupling. We'll add our 1/4-inch barbed coupling to our micro tubing, then push the barbed coupling into the hole in the tubing, run it over the plant, and install our dripper in the end of the 1/4-inch tubing run, and hold it in place with a stabilizer stake. The reason I prefer this method is because it's easier to find the color-coded drippers. Most drippers are color-coded based on their flow rate. One thing I really like about methods that aren't directly in the main line is that you can give each dripper or each run of drippers its own on-off switch. Another reason I really prefer this over the landscaper method is you're not so limited in range. With the landscaper method, there's not a lot of pressure coming out of that dripper, so you can't run your spaghetti tubing too far from your main line. Why can't you run the tubing with the bug plug more than 30 feet? It's because there's not a lot of pressure coming out of the dripper. Here, I'll show you. I'll cut off both lines of tubing in the same spot right here. As you can see, the landscaper method only drips at 1 gallon per hour, since this cut is after the emitter. This other line is at full flow because we cut before the emitter. Since the landscaper method is dripping so slowly, the drip doesn't have the pressure needed to travel more than just a few feet. What do you do if your main line is far away from your plant, but you still like to do the landscaper method? There's a compromise method that kind of makes the best of both. Instead of punching the dripper directly into the main line, we're going to use our 1/4-inch barb, just like we did with the previous method. Then we're going to create our run of 1/4-inch tubing to get to our plant. And now remember, this can go quite a ways away because there's no dripper in the main line blocking pressure. Then we'll install our dripper when we're getting close but not right on top of our plant. Then we'll connect some more spaghetti tubing to the outlet bar of our dripper, run it the last little bit of distance to the plant, and put our bug plug there. This provides the clog resistance, but still allows you to run far away from your main line. The fifth and final method is one of my personal favorites because of the flexibility it provides. We made an in-depth video about this method, but you can check out right here.